Tracking one more winter storm before 2020 is through. The latest on the winter storm alerts and when the snow is set to start across the inland Northwest.
And the House has passed a bill to increase stimulus checks to $2,000, but the measure is now facing opposition from the Senate. We'll break down what happens next. Plus, long-awaited coronavirus vaccines are arriving at facilities in Washington state that need them most, and one of those places is right here in Spokane County.
KREM 2 News at Noon begins now.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today on the KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Joshua Robinson. Laura Papetti and Jen York are enjoying some time off for the holiday season, but we are tracking breaking news right now in the noon hour. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has blocked a measure to immediately bring President Trump's demand for larger stimulus checks to a vote. Trump wants to increase the payments from $600 to $2,000 per person, and the House of Representatives voted overwhelmingly yesterday in favor of increasing those payments. Those $2,000 stimulus checks would inflate the total COVID relief bill, though, to more than $1 trillion. And many Senate Republicans have expressed their concerns about that increase in spending. Meanwhile, the Treasury Department is scrambling to distribute the relief that's already been approved. The first payments could start going out by the end of this week. Of course, here's how our local lawmakers voted on the House bill last night. Washington Representative Kathy McMorris Rogers voted against the measure. Idaho Representatives Russ Fulcher and Mike Simpson also voted no. The measure did pass, though, with a vote of 275 to 134. The House of Representatives also voted last night to override President Donald Trump's veto of the National Defense Authorization Act. That vote was 322 to 87. And the bill includes a requirement to remove Confederate names from military bases within 3 years, and it excludes a repeal of a tech liability shield. So plenty of unknowns this afternoon about that $600 stimulus check. But here's what we do know about the payments that have already been promised in the original coronavirus relief bill.
The number one question, when will people see money in their bank accounts? The answer, we just don't know yet. Last week, the U.S. Treasury Secretary said direct payments could be sent out just days after the bill became law. Next, do you have to sign up to receive a stimulus check? No. If you file taxes in 2019 and you qualify, the IRS will use the information they have on file to deposit that money directly into your account. If the IRS doesn't have your banking information, it will send you a check in the mail. Who qualifies for another stimulus check? Well, if your 2019 reported income was $75,000 or less, you will be eligible for that one-time payment. That amount drops by $5 as your income goes up by $100. So, for example, people who made $75,100 will get $595. If you have a dependent who is under the age of 17, you'll get an additional $600 per child. If the dependent is older than 17, like a college student, you won't. And if you don't have a valid Social Security number, you are not eligible to get a payment.
Well, our other big story today is the winter storm headed our way, and it could drop a significant amount of snow across Spokane. Thomas Patrick in the Weather Center right now to track its path for all of us. Thomas?
Yeah, good afternoon, Joshua. This will be a pretty big event, especially for the morning hours tomorrow. That's probably when the most of the snow is going to fall, but it really could be an all-day event based on the duration of the storm system overall. There are winter storm warnings for northeastern Washington from Deer Park northward through Newport, Loon Lake, Springdale, Colville, Kettle Falls, as well as the Panhandle region of North Idaho from Spirit Lake and northward, with all those winter weather advisories surrounding that, including in the Spokane area. It kicks in at 1 a.m. tomorrow. That's probably about the earliest that we'll see the snow start, and then it's going to be a pretty high impact event for the morning hours. Even if we only get 2 or 3 inches before the noon hour, that will be quite a hazard, especially for the commute, for the roadways. A lot of snowy, a lot of slippery conditions are expected, especially the morning hours on Wednesday. But it is at least dry at the moment as you take a look at Snoqualmie Pass. Good to go for now. Same story in downtown Spokane. A bit of mist out there at the moment at the worst, but on our 12-hour, hour-by-hour forecast, you can see that there are a few snow icons around 11 p.m., 1 a.m. That's probably when the snow will just be getting started come tomorrow. Coming up, going to be timing out this weather system because it is not just an all snow system. So we'll take you hour by hour through the day on Wednesday and show you when those risks will be at their highest.
We'll see you back here in a few minutes, Thomas. This now coming in new at noon. High-risk workers at Eastern State Hospital have received Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. Those doses arrived at the Medical Lake facility just yesterday, and vaccinations started the same day. Officials say 7 employees at Eastern State currently have the coronavirus. A total of 72 staff members have contracted the virus over the past several months, and a nurse who worked at the hospital for more than 30 years died from the virus in April after contracting it outside of work. Now, the vaccine is voluntary for staff at all DSHS facilities in Washington State. Meanwhile, the Washington nursing home where the coronavirus first broke out in the U.S. has received its first vaccinations. Life Care in Kirkland says the vaccine is free to residents and to employees, and it is encouraged but not mandatory. Life Care hasn't yet said how many doses are being administered. Meanwhile, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and her husband Doug Emhoff received their coronavirus vaccines today. Seconds after getting the shot, Harris spoke about what this moment meant for her today and why she thinks it's important to get the vaccine publicly.
I want to encourage everyone to get the vaccine. It is relatively painless. It happens really quickly. It is safe. This is about saving lives. It's literally about saving lives.
Harris and her husband got the Moderna vaccine, and so far we've also seen Vice President Mike Pence publicly get his vaccine, along with President-elect Joe Biden and Surgeon General Jerome Adams. You see here Dr. Anthony Fauci, also one of the first people to receive Moderna's new coronavirus vaccine just last week. U.S. representatives and high-ranking officials have also been vaccinated. Now, there's another coronavirus vaccine now under final stage testing in the U.S. and Mexico. Novavax has started a large late-stage study after delaying the trial twice because of issues with manufacturing. Another coronavirus vaccine, of course, under that testing right now, and you're seeing here the latest on that trial. Basically, they had issues because of manufacturing, but the drug developer will enroll up to 30,000 volunteers, and they hope to deliver 100 million doses to the U.S. early next year if the vaccine is proven to be effective and safe. To date, more than 2 million Americans have been vaccinated against COVID-19. The federal government had aimed for 20 million people by the end of the year. According to the latest CDC data, more than 11 million doses of the vaccine have already been shipped across the country. And here in Spokane, Sacred Heart Medical Center says they've administered 2,000 vaccines so far. Spokane Regional Health District also reported 147 new coronavirus cases just yesterday. The total number of cases is now more than 25,000. 2 new deaths have been reported, with 355 people overall having died in Spokane County since the beginning of the pandemic. Across state line in North Idaho, where 332 new cases have been reported over the weekend, bringing their total number of cases over 15,000 since the pandemic started. Currently, 99 people are hospitalized. Also new at noon, the Boeing 737 MAX returned to the skies for its first U.S. passenger flight since 2019. The MAX was grounded worldwide in March of last year, just days after a second deadly crash. Faulty sensor readings contributed to the 2 crashes in Indonesia and Ethiopia that left hundreds of people dead. American Airlines offered today's flight on the 737 MAX from Miami, which landed in New York. MAX flights will be identified during booking, and passengers can change to a different plane for no fee. The MAX will fly for Alaska, Southwest, and United next year. As we take a look now at some of our other local top stories, an unlikely group is trending today. The Satanic Temple of Idaho is holding a donation campaign to collect menstrual products through the end of this month. According to the group's website, the campaign will make menstrual products available to all people in need. One of its drop boxes is located in downtown Coeur d'Alene at the Crown and Thistle. Now, the owner sent us a photo of just how many donations they have already received through this drive, but the pub has received backlash for allowing that collection bin. You can see right here those donations that have gathered up already. But in a statement, co-owner Ben Drake says the pub is a safe, neutral place for beer, food, and the betterment of the community. Crown and Thistle also called the collection of the products a, quote, worthy cause, as Drake goes on to say, We would do the same for any worthy cause presented by our area because we are built by this community and we exist for this community. Starting next week, minimum wage workers will get a 19-cent raise in Washington. Starting on January 1st, workers will be paid $13.69 per hour. And for the first time since 2016, that increase was calculated from inflation, not from a voter-approved ballot measure. But ballot measures have approved increases over the past 4 years. This new increase, though, it was determined by a 1.39% increase to the Consumer Price Index over the last year. This will also affect the salary of some salaried employees exempt from overtime. Salaried executive, administrative, and professional workers and computer professionals must earn a salary above a minimum specified amount to remain overtime exempt. That threshold is 1.5 times the minimum wage, so that's also going to increase in 2021. We've got more to come on the KREM 2 News at noon today, including a story you might remember about these hot chocolate bombs raising money for charity.
I know their heart, and I know that they just want their children to be accepted because I just want mine.
Well, aside from making Thomas Patrick and I crave one of these delicious bombs, we've also got an update from the bakery that grabbed all of our attention.